Hey Paul, I am Jeff Hurst. I'm the CEO and president of Furnished Finder. Furnished Finder is a marketplace for midterm rentals, and so we're exclusively monthly stays, 30 days and longer in the United States, and we have about 285,000 homes on the platform now. We've been in business for almost 10 years. Yeah, so I see the the market looks like a barbell. And so on one hand, there's the very large short-term players, the Airbnbs, the Verbos, the Booking.coms. On the other hand, there's the very large long-term players, the Zillows, the CoStars, the Redfins. And what you have is basically a middle niche between yearly rentals and daily rentals, which is monthly rentals. And there's not a platform other than us that specializes in that as a marketplace. And we're trying to be cost disruptive and really make it possible for people to explore living in different places, usually for their profession, but often for relocation or insurance or moving their family, in a way that's currently either cost prohibitive or the not right inventory selection to make it easy. It's notably different than my time at Verbo. And so the average occupancy is only about 1.6 guests. People book it a little over a month out, but the average length of stay is over 90 days, about 95 days. We have people who book entire years, and we have people who very frequently, almost half the time, extend their stay once they've been there. It feels a lot more like early Verbo than it does later Expedia Verbo. And so I joined, HomeAway Verbo in 2010. As an example, a few years prior to that, 15 years ago, Verbo would have been $249 a year for a subscription and had 135,000 listings. So we have over 275,000 listings and are $149 of subscription. And so 15 years later, that's the comparable I often have in mind is how can we be price disruptive and build a great inventory selection? And it feels like those early subscription days on the internet. Yeah, I think it's a different answer on both sides of the marketplace. On the landlord side, I think the big things are to be a great value and to provide them with the control to manage a home, in particular because you're often establishing tenants' rights in the US, and so being vetted is very important. And so it's really about control and price value. On the tenant side, it has a lot more to do with having, and this is what our tenants tell us, you've got the best selection, I like being able to communicate, and I want to be in a place without booking fees. If you're a traveling nurse, which is a big part of our tenant demographics, you make, say on average, $80,000 a year. You've got a $1,800 a month stipend to travel for your lodging. If you do 3 gigs a year, that's 9 months at $1,800, and you're basically going to spend more than a week's take-home pay on Airbnb fees if you book on Airbnb instead of Furnished Finder. So it's a huge deal. You're able to take your family on a vacation that otherwise couldn't happen without a platform like ours. Right. We see, it's a positive for us. And so many cities around the world are moving to a 30-day plus paradigm, 28-day plus paradigm. Dallas, Las Vegas, New York, Los Angeles. When that happens, short-term rentals typically flip to midterm furnished or long-term furnished. And so they can stay on some of those same platforms, but we also see a lot of inventory pickup in those situations. On the opposite side of the equation, where it's not regulatory, the interest rate environment and lack of liquidity in the home sales market has more people looking at furnishing their homes and renting them out midterm to have better cash flow. We're Alex from Blue Ground and I, it's an interview, so we'll find out what I talk about. The big thing on my mind is that having spent over almost 15 years at Verbo and Expedia, I didn't know the category existed. And so to me, it's really about educating around this 30-day plus opportunity, what it looks like, and how early we are, I think, in building out the ecosystem to make that a great success for tenants and landlords. It's for us, we see this as, it's very much a bootstrapped company. And so we're bringing in a lot of new talent and a lot of expertise in technology to re-architect it in a way to where it's easier to use and we can keep it cheap and lightweight.